Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It's the 5th day of December 2022. I hope you're all safe and healthy this morning and that you enjoyed your weekend. Happy Monday. I hope the same could be said of your family, that they're safe and healthy, and that they also enjoyed their weekend. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and the first responders who are out here every day with the first responders, of course, trying to save lives. And those that pick up garbage for us to keep streets and sidewalks and parks and highways and stairwells clean. And those also that make deliveries of food and water and mail for our convenience. Finally, blessings upon the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue and deliver the teenagers and children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia or worse. The victims also of pornography and child pornography. The victims also of prostitution and child prostitution. The victims of sex slavery and human trafficking. And double curses on the perpetrators, the perverts, and the profiteers who traffic in this human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children, mostly children, on the streets of the United States of America. And also millions around the world, similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game last night. The New York Knicks beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 92-81. And with all the calls for Tom Thibodeau's removal and all the calls for everybody to get fired, I'm glad Don is not listening. And I'm glad Dolan is not listening. And I'm glad that Thibodeau is not listening. But they're doing their business. For all the talk of how bad the losses are, there's very little talk from those same people of how great the wins are. They held the Cleveland Cavaliers, who come into the game 15-8, to 81 points, not under 100, not under 9, just under 100, but under 90, 81, just over 80. They held them to that. There was adjustments made. And the thing is, again, some people don't get it. They're not going to, I figured. But you cannot play everybody. Okay? So Thibodeau and most of the NBA, not just Thibodeau, play 9-man rotations. Sometimes, in some cases, they'll even play 8-man rotations in the NBA in general. In some cases, they'll play 10. But the 10 is rare. Most teams play 9. Okay? And they'll sprinkle in a couple of 1-2 minute guys at the end of a game. But usually the 10 minutes or more guys, that's the rotation guys, they're going to play basically 9, usually. Thibs is comfortable with that like most people in the NBA. Some of y'all like to act like Thibs is the only coach that does that. Everybody in the NBA does that, okay? So he was trying, and he's still trying to figure out who that 9-man rotation is, because he's been dealing with injuries and he's been dealing with the talent that we have, and we stacked at several positions. So I was very happy to see that he benched Derrick Rose. I was not happy to see that he benched Cam Reddish. Now, someone say, well, why you hate on Derrick Rose? I'm not hating on D-Rose. But you know, and I know that Thibs and D-Rose go back a long way, that they really tight. And for him to bench D-Rose shows he's looking to see what best works to win. Okay? What best works to win. I just talked to y'all. We had a podcast yesterday, and I mentioned several things. One of the things I mentioned is that Deuce McBride needs to be moved into the rotation because of the defense that he brings. And if you've seen him in the G League, you know he's got a shot. He got a jumper. He can shoot. He's also got athleticism. And of course, his defense is elite. Okay. So we needed that because the Knicks have been getting hammered, as you all know, on the perimeter with the perimeter defense. That's why I liked Cam, because Cam also brought the perimeter defense. Now, Cam had a really bad game. You know, I got to admit, Cam had a really bad game against Dallas on Saturday. But I didn't think he would get benched. But somebody's got to get benched because you got to go with a 9-man rotation. And I have to say, I really liked the rotation he used. Deuce McBride played 16 minutes. He did not score a point. But if you were watching the game, he was one of the major differences of this game. He was guarding mostly Garland and Mitchell. He was mostly guarding them between the two of them. Mitchell was 8 for 22. Garland was 5 of 19. I'm not saying it was Deuce by himself, but if you watch the game, he was a major piece in the defense brought on those two people. I was very concerned with Mitchell going off because, if you watch, Donovan Mitchell, he could be locked up for 3 quarters and all of a sudden blow out on you in the fourth quarter and end up with 28, 30, whatever. And they were locking him up and I was like, okay, what's going to happen in the fourth quarter? And they did a good job. Not only did Deuce do a great job defensively, I was very impressed with the defense of one Jalen Brunson. The thing is that, if you're guarding straight up, head up in the half court, Brunson can be exposed. But if you're talking about hustle, a lot of plays where, and I remember there were days back in time, when Jeff Hornacek was coaching them or when Fizdale was coaching them, where it would be frustrating to watch the Knicks because you would see other teams sprinting back on defense, 2, 3, 4 guys getting back so they don't get beat on the fast break and give up easy baskets. You would never see that in the Knicks. They would get beat constantly down the floor. And now under Thibodeau, no. Okay, they sprint back. And now you get a Brunson in here, which is a Thibodeau type dude. Yesterday, they were sprinting back. They were getting back on defense. They were reducing the Cavaliers' ability to get easy baskets. One of the things that helps teams win in the NBA is as many easy baskets as you could get. That helps you win a ball game because it takes less energy. You can put more energy on your defense and, so on and so forth. So you want to get easy baskets. And so the Knicks were limiting them on that. And a lot of that was the Knicks hustling back and a couple of big defensive plays from Jalen Brunson. Of course, Mitchell Robinson. Now, again, he's another one. He played 34 minutes yesterday. He had 11 boards, 3 on the offensive end. He only had 5 points, but the defense. See, I keep telling some of y'all not getting it yet. Defense wins championships. You got to get stops in critical times. And while the Knicks are not going for a championship, it's creating a defense like this that builds a foundation for what would later, maybe next year, 2 years, be a championship level squad. And you got to start with the culture of defense. And again, when you hear me talk about culture, you should remember when you're dealing with culture in an NBA franchise, you're dealing with stability in the front office and stability on the sidelines. That's why you don't fire everybody in their second season. You try to keep, once you pick this squad from top to bottom, and as long as they're all on the same page. Now, if Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau were bickering, that's a different story. They're not on the same page. But Thibs has been around long enough. Leon has been around as an agent long enough. They've known each other long enough so that they should be on the same page. That's why you sign them for 5 years and you keep them and you just let them build. Okay. At the end of this 5-year period, Thibs is going to be close to 70. And I know Leon ain't going to be no spring chicken either. So you're going to need to have a culture built. You're going to need to have a system in place so that whoever is coming in could still be on that same page. What you want, again, you look at the Miamis, you look at the San Antonios of the world, and what you see is a constant in the culture. And even like a team that never won a chip like Utah, consistently good, consistently playoff bound. And they stuck with Jerry Sloan for like 15 years. See, and that's all management being on the same page. Okay. That's all the management and the coaching staff be on the same page. They're going to get some losing times. They're going to have some rough times, but if they stay together, you have a chance of creating a winning culture, building a foundation that could end up winning chips. And so what happened here, the Knicks stuck together. They made adjustments. Cam Reddish had to sit. DRose had to sit. You end up moving Deuce up into the rotation. And Grimes still is not shooting well, but overall, again, if you watch the game, the IQ, the defense, the perimeter defense, the high IQ that's setting up his teammates, tremendous. Okay. And so that's the type of thing you want. You're not going to see tremendous stats on NBA 2K. So that's what a lot of people do. They look at stats. Oh, this guy stinks. He's only averaging 4 points a game, but you're not watching the game, nor do you actually know the game. This is no more than just watching numbers on a stat sheet. You got to see what's going on. And these guys are playing. They played at a cohesive unit. They played at a very high level of defense. It was beautiful. It was beautiful to watch. Now, Obi only played 13 minutes yesterday. He had 5 points plus 13. But again, if you saw the game, you saw the impact that he made on both ends of the floor yesterday. It was really beautiful to watch. That was the type of Tom Thibodeau coach team that you want to see. Okay, that's the type of Tom Thibodeau, the type of defensive effort that you want from a team. Randall played 35 minutes. He scored 18, 9 boards, 4 assists, 1 turnover. The good thing about Randall yesterday was that, number one, he was playing some defense, even though he did slip his usual thing a couple times, but you didn't hear a lot about him yesterday. He was solid. He was in it. It was really nice to see him allow Jalen Brunson to run the team. RJ Barrett, 31 minutes, 5 of 13 from the floor, 2 of 7 from the 3-point line, 3 of 4 from the foul. His foul shooting has really gotten high level. He's close to 80% for the season. He really has worked on his foul shooting, 8 boards, 15 points plus 7. It was a grinded out defensive game yesterday. And so the Knicks really played at a high level defensively as a unit. I talked to Thibs after the game. If you listen to his comments, he was saying, he straight said, they said, well, what happened with Cam Reddish? That was a coach's decision. What happened with DRose? That was a coach's decision. And he's trying not to create headlines while the media is trying to create headlines. He benches Cam Reddish. Oh, he benches DRose. But you got to win, baby. And he's trying to get a 9-man rotation that works, at least for now. He might change it. I don't think he's going to change it for the Atlanta game, nor should he. He should have the same rotation for the Atlanta game coming up, because you need to have that perimeter defense. You need to have defense on the string. Emmanuel quickly, again, 6 of 8 from the field yesterday. Did not shoot a 3-point shot. He didn't even attempt one because he was getting to the rack. He had 2 assists, 5 boards. He had 3 turnovers. Everybody had turnovers yesterday. The ref was going, traveling crazy yesterday, really. And so that's why the Knicks had 20 turnovers, but I say really they had 12, because the refs were ridiculous with this traveling calls yesterday. But anyway, Quick was good yesterday. They were all good. They were a cohesive unit. They played very well together. Would I like to see some Sims? I always like to see some Sims. Would I like to see some Cam? Yes, I would like to see some Cam. But you got to settle on the rotation. You got to get a 9-man rotation. It's the most efficient. And that's why it's used widely in the NBA. It's the most efficient use of the team in an NBA type game. The 9-man rotation. Okay. Over the course of an 82-game season, when you're trying to establish roles for everybody, and you're trying to establish a cohesive unit, and you want to get the most out of your unit, 9-man rotation is generally what NBA uses, and Tom Thibodeau is no different. He did that yesterday. He made hard decisions. I'm very happy with what he did. He made hard decisions, even though, like I said, Cam is my man. I'm Cam high. I believe Cam is, again, the most talented basketball talent the Knicks have. But you got to make decisions, and you got to make those decisions. And I can't cry about Quentin Grimes getting all the minutes at the 2. Quentin Grimes could play the 2 at a high level. Elite defense. Okay. So he's going to go with Cam. And it's obvious, as much as I like Cam, it's obvious Thibs favors Grimes. I mean, it's obvious, right? And you can't argue with him favoring Grimes. It's not like he's favoring Kemba Walker, right? Or he's favoring Alec Burks at the point guard spot. He's favoring a guy that the Knicks drafted that plays high-level defense and has the potential to be elite on his jump shot as well once he gets in his rhythm. So I can't fault him for that. As much as I like Cam, I can't fault him for that. So I'm glad the Knicks played this game. I'm glad it was played the way it did. I'm glad Thibs made the decisions that he made, that he had to make tough decisions to bench a certain couple guys, especially DRose. Like I said, DRose's defense has slipped. His speed and his quickness. It's 34 years old, man. It's going to happen. It happens to everybody. Very few players that rely on high-level athleticism as DRose has in his career maintain that past a certain age. When you are a guy that relies on high level of skills like a Stephen Curry, who relies on off-ball movement. Stephen Curry is one of the greatest off-ball movement players in the history of the game. I mentioned him with John Havlicek, who's another one like that. When you're running like that, when your game is based on that, you just got to stay in shape. Because most people won't stay with you anyway. It's just not relying on athletic ability. It's relying on skill and hustle. Well, DRose, as if you follow DRose's career, his trademark is his elite quickness, his elite athleticism, and his finishing ability. But he's lost a step for sure. And defensively, it was really glaring this season, a couple of games. So Thibs made the hard decision. He went with the 9-man rotation. He brought the younger dude, McBride, up there. It worked, So we're going to see what happens Wednesday against Atlanta. I'm very hopeful if he stays with this rotation and these guys stay healthy. I like our odds against Atlanta. So, like I said, to me, total win, top to bottom, complete opposite of what happened against the Mavs on Saturday. Again, the Knicks never really play well on Saturday matinees, and I'm glad they bounced back strong, 92-81. Let's get some more games like this. Let's get some more defensive battles. I'd like to see more of that. Again, I'm glad Deuce is in the rotation. I hope he keeps it like that. Right now, I think this is the perfect spot for Deuce. He doesn't need to start, obviously. He's not starting over Jalen Brunson, but he needs to get that ball in his hands and he needs to get the minutes. That was great. I want to continue to see that. Somehow, some way, I'd like to get Obi some more minutes. I don't know how he's going to do it. The only way that I can see that happening is playing Randall less minutes. That's the only way. And I don't know if he's going to do that. Randall's a $106 million player. So I don't know if he's going to do that. That's why I advocate to trade Julius Randle, because I want Obi Toppin in that starting lineup. But for now, the way this is set up, we got to flow with it. And so I like the 9-man rotation that they use. Hopefully they continue to use that. And this is, again, I want to see this consistently in terms of the rotation. And I understand Thibs is trying to find his rotation. That's what he's trying to do right now. Find his rotation. That's why he initially took Fournier completely out of the rotation. He realized, okay, I can't use you in my rotation. And now he's moved DRose out. Okay. I don't know what's going to happen with Cam, but and then we've heard rumors of now that teams are interested in DRose. Well, we shouldn't be surprised. I mean, like I said, DRose is that dude you want in the playoffs to come off your bench and give you that spark in playoff basketball. He could do that. And I'd love to have him on the Knicks, but I'm going to be honest. I think Quickly and Deuce McBride can handle it. I think we got it covered. With Quick and Deuce McBride. I think we got it covered. So, anyway, on to the next game. So they're at home against Atlanta. The next game. Again, this is part of a pretty grueling schedule. The Knicks are playing some high-level teams. So we're at home against Atlanta. We go to Charlotte. Charlotte is not a high-level team, but again, I just want to stress to y'all check this out, right? So look, the Knicks beat Detroit last Tuesday. Detroit turned around on Thursday and beat the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks turned around on Saturday and spanked the Knicks. Then the Knicks on a back-to-back come back on Sunday and spank the Cleveland Cavaliers. This is that league. See, I see people calling this an upset. People use the word upset in the regular season. It kind of is annoying to me because this ain't college basketball. This is the NBA. In any given game, any team could beat any team. It's the league. Everybody's good. Now, in the 7-game series in the playoffs, your superior team should win, just percentage-wise, because you're playing 7 games against the same team. The superior team is the one that's going to win that series, okay? And so if the superior team loses, that is an upset. But during the course of an 82-game NBA season, listen, brethren, anybody could beat anybody, period. Okay? Anybody could beat anybody, all right? That's just how it is, man. So I wouldn't call it an upset. I just say the Knicks were ready to play yesterday. Cavs weren't. Saturday, Mavs were ready to play. Cavs weren't. On that particular day, the winners were better. On that particular day. That's just how it works, okay? So, it's the league. So, anything could happen on any given night. Key thing, they got to be ready. They got to have their roles down. They got to have their minutes allocated and know what they're going to play. Can't be no surprises. And everybody's got to be prepared. Period. Okay? So, they got Atlanta, Charlotte, and then the Kings. And the Kings are a high-level team right now. I thought they would be, but because they got Keegan Murray, and I think he was the missing piece. And since they moved him into the starting lineup, the Kings are, let me look here. The Kings are 5th in the West, 7-3 in their last 10, +4 on the plus minus, 13-9. They went on like a 6-game winning streak. They're playing a high level ball right now, so don't sleep on them. So the Knicks got 3 difficult games. LaMelo Ball's back playing with Charlotte. We can't sleep on them. This is going to be, this is no joke. This is a rough schedule right here. So we got to be ready every night, starting in the Madison Square Garden against Atlanta, the ATL, with the Leprechaun on Wednesday. So we'll talk before then, but listen, please enjoy your Monday. Be safe out there. Shalom.